Hey.
Hey, we are live. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
We are here for our November Book of the Month live show about Heartless by Marissa Meyer. I am here, of course, again with Chloe from the from the Brunette Bibliophile.
Right
And,
when you hit the button, I got an email that said you're live.
oh
Like
yeah,
my phone buzzed.
like duh, of course we're live. All right, so I've tweeted out the link saying that we're live. Do you need to do that, Chloe? And I'll talk about my thoughts, or
Yes, lots of things I need to do.
So I gave Heartless a 5 out of 5 stars. Of course, this was just fantastic. So much better than I thought it was going to be. I was so worried about Heartless because before this came out, I saw a couple of ARC reviews about it where people were unimpressed. And so I went in reading this with very low expectations, and I have a feeling that a lot of people, because of Marissa Meyer's Lunar Chronicle series, I feel like a lot of people went into this with huge expectations. And while this is definitely not her best book she's ever written or the best story we could have gotten from her, it's still a really good story, and it has the amazing writing that Marissa Meyer always delivers. But I feel like because people went in with such high expectations that they were slightly disappointed. So I went in with basically no expectations, and I was very happy with what I got out of it.
I remember when I'd started reading before you, and you're just like, "Don't tell me, even if I ask."
Yeah, I was like,
Don't
after I saw 2 bad reviews, and they weren't good at all. And after I saw those 2 bad reviews, and this was like months before the book actually released, I was like, okay, I'm not reading any reviews. I'm not going to read the synopsis ever again. I'm just going to forget about everything having to do with Heartless until I start reading it and make my decision solely based on what I've read. And I'm going to try not to think about, having any expectations or what anyone else thinks, because I'm a type of reader that's very influenced by other people's opinions. And so I really try hard to not have those opinions or have those opinions influence my opinion when I'm reading a book.
Okay, I just tweeted out the link, and I'm pulling it up on my phone so I can read questions. Okay, so 5 out of 5 stars. This book broke me. I am broken. And I noticed when I was editing my book talk for this video that I almost started crying towards the end, and it was stressful. But I think it was really, really good. And honestly, I'm very surprised that this is a Marissa Meyer book, just because we're so used to her sci-fi fantasy writing than we are just her normal retelling writing. Because like with the Lunar Chronicles, it's retellings, but it's merged with sci-fi and fantasy. This, I feel like, is just a pure retelling. Like, there's nothing else mixed with it. So, it was very, very good, and I loved it so much.
Definitely. It was amazing, and I'm just so glad that I liked this book, because after I read those 2 bad reviews, I was like, I can't not love a Marissa Meyer book. I can't. Like, she is my everything author. Like, I love her so much. She's probably the author that got me into science fiction, definitely made me like fall even more in love with retellings, and her writing style is just amazing. Oh no, I almost dropped my book. And I was just really afraid that I was not going to like this. So I'm glad that I ended up really enjoying it. So we have talked about our initial thoughts, and we're gonna head straight into spoilers, you guys. So
I want to add something really quick.
yeah,
I am like obsessed with Alice in Wonderland. So when this book was announced, I was really excited for it. And like, as an Alice in Wonderland fan, I think this was really, really good. Especially, and this isn't a spoiler because I heard it in somebody else's review. We know that our main character is going to end up the Queen of Hearts. We know it. So now we're just like looking for the signs.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I think it even says on the front, doesn't it? Or maybe there was
It, it was in the synopsis.
I think there was another edition that it clearly said it like right on the top.
Gregory Maguire blurbed this.
Oh yeah, I see that. But no,
No.
yeah, it says directly in the synopsis that our main character, this is her story before she became the evil Queen of Hearts and how she basically got to that point. And I think that Marissa Meyer definitely did the story and the world justice. Like it makes complete sense. You know, there are so many little like Easter eggs kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Like little just bits and pieces of things that you could just see the character development. And usually when a character develops over the course of a book, they're learning something new or they're becoming enlightened or they're becoming a better person. And this is just directly the opposite. You can see the breakdown of her personality and her just becoming more and more there's a specific word I'm looking for and I can't think of it, like jaded kind of. Like you can just see her becoming more mean and hateful and soulless, and it's so good. Like I hate saying that because seeing a good character who has morals and is a good person and is nice become this mean hateful person, but it just makes complete sense for the character.
I have the live chat up right now.
Awesome.
And your brother says hi and that he's ignoring the phones at work to say hi. Your mom says hi. And you have somebody else, Marcelina Meller. She says hi and she's so glad to be here. Well, we're glad to have you.
Yes, we are so glad to have you as well. Thank you so much for coming. So we've basically been talking the last couple of minutes about our initial thoughts, non-spoilery, and we gave our star reviews. Both of us gave us a 5 out of 5 stars. So now we are going to go into all of the spoilery bits.
Yes.
And so just be forewarned, there are some really big spoilers for this book. And as someone who was spoiled, and I'll get into that story in a second, you don't
I forgot about that.
Yeah. No, I haven't. You don't want to be spoiled for this book. So if you have not read Heartless by Marissa Meyer, or if you care about being spoiled, go ahead and leave now and come back and watch this later when you have read the book. But if you don't mind about being spoiled, or if you've read the book, then we're going to get into all of the spoilery parts right now. So I guess the first thing that I really want to talk about is how I was spoiled, because I stupidly spoiled myself. So this is me, okay? Reading Heartless. I get to about 200 pages, okay? And I'm like, 200 pages, and it doesn't even look like I'm halfway done. Let me see how many pages are in this book, right? Okay, and I'm like, go through, how many pages? There are 449 pages, cool. And then I glance up at the very last paragraph, and it has the biggest spoiler of the entire book. And I was just like, no. I was
rookie mistake. You don't look up.
I know. I don't even know why I looked up. I don't even know why. And I was so upset that I spoiled myself, you guys. I was very, very sad about that.
I'd like to point out, and I mean, now that we're in you didn't directly say it at all, but it doesn't really matter now that we're in spoilers. Jess dies, and that makes me want to die. But what was I gonna say? I am not one to cry at books at all. There is one book in like the history of my reading that I've ever cried at, and that was Fault in Our Stars. But I'm not one to cry at books, but and I said it earlier, so I'll just say it again. I was editing my book talk, and I didn't cry in it, but there was a part towards the end where I'm talking about how much this book broke me, and I'm just like, why are my eyes so shiny? I'm like, I look like I'm about to cry. I don't cry, but I look like I'm about to.
I honestly probably would have cried if I hadn't spoiled myself. I was just angry. Like when I got halfway through the book, and at that point, the love was starting, like the romance and the feeling.
Oh, so you were like right at the beginning of it.
Yes, was really starting. And then when I see the end and I'm just like, holy crap, no, what? And I was just so angry, and I remember texting you and I cursed, lots of curses.
Oh, yeah.
I was so mad that I had spoiled myself. But I think that if I had not have spoiled myself, I probably would have cried more. My feelings more so, but because I spoiled myself, was I just wanted to know what happened. How did we get to that point that he died? Because I already knew that it happened. So, there was all these plot points, and I was trying to figure out, because the part that I read was specifically the only sentence that I read. It says, for the murder of Jest, and that's where I stopped. I was like, as soon as I saw for the murder of Jest, I was just like, no, and I had to like throw the book away before I saw any more. So the only thing that I knew was that he was murdered. I didn't know how someone murdered him or who murdered him, and so it was just like a guessing game for me of who done it, how they do it, why they do it, type thing. Yeah, so it was a very interesting ride for me, but I probably would have cried if I hadn't spoiled myself.
What was I gonna say?
Do you want to start on your notes? I know you.
Yeah, I'm kind of like glancing at them. I feel like this book, we knew it was a standalone, when it was announced, and I feel like this doesn't look like a long book at all. Like,
the pages are just kind of thin.
I mean, it's basically like Winter, but
Yeah.
like there were just so many different things going on with this book, and I'm just like, when I finished, I was just like, how did we fit all of that into one book?
Yeah, there definitely was a lot in there, and but I feel like it wasn't rushed, and there was enough information to, like, I don't know how Marissa Meyer does it, but she put all of this information, and basically like the murder, and then the Peter guy, and like how all of that happened, and like I feel like I was so dumb when we found out who did it or like how it was done. We should have known, like, from the middle of the book what was going to happen, because it kind of just everything added up and it just made sense by the time we found out. But she just did a really good job of putting all this information in there without feeling rushed, without feeling info dumpy. Like,
yeah, and
I don't know.
Going back on what you said about how like it didn't feel rushed or anything. It didn't. It flowed very well, and I think it's just it goes back to the point of, I can't believe this is all one story in one book, because it flowed so well, and it just felt like we were getting a lot of information, but we weren't really being info dumped.
Yeah, she has Marissa Meyer has a really great way of kind of like putting in little bits of information that once you go back, like you've read the book and you go back and you kind of reflect and you're like, oh yeah, that's why that was in there. And it kind of just feels like a passing fact or passing world building snippet or something like that, but it had a purpose and it meant something, but it didn't feel out of place. And I don't know how she does it, but she's just like a writing genius where she does things like that, where it just makes sense, and it's, yeah.
Marissa Meyer's just a queen.
Yes, I don't know how she does it. She's an amazing writer, and like the fact that she puts in all these little bits of information were just so good. Like the like Hatter or like Hatta.
I don't like that, Hatta. It sounds weird in my mouth.
Yeah, it was weird. And hair. Remember how hair was spelled?
Let's see. Oh, we have questions in the chat. I'm so excited now.
Oh yeah, I love questions. What are the questions? Give me your questions.
Let's see. Sydney, I feel like this is like so many people we've had like on a normal, like than a normal one.
Yeah.
So anyway, Sydney DeGuire. Hey, were you pulling for her to be more evil, or did you kind of want her to turn back?
Oh. You want to answer that or me?
I mean, I can start. Okay. I wanted her to turn back, and I also didn't want to believe that stupid prophecy that those three sisters said But I said it in the beginning. This is a story that we've known since it's been announced that this is about the Queen of Hearts before she was the Queen of Hearts, and we knew that she was going to be the Queen of Hearts. And you just figure, no amount of, crying and wanting her to turn around and wanting Jess to not be dead is going to stop it.
Yeah, that was basically exactly what I was going to say. I wanted her to marry Jess and have her bakery and live happily ever after. And, I really, really wanted that for her because she just, like Marissa Meyer, just made me fall in love with her character, even though I know she's eventually going to turn evil. And as much as I want her to be good and to live happily ever after and have all of the dreams that she wanted, she deserved all of those dreams and hopes that she wanted for herself.
Yeah.
I knew it was never going to happen because her destiny was already set in stone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that sucks. But I did want her to, but I knew it wasn't going to happen.
I'm kind of like all over the place because I have the once Twitter. I'm logged into that on my computer, so I have to retweet from my personal one on my phone.
Oh.
Because I haven't retweeted the link yet.
Was that the only question that we had?
No, we have more questions. They're also on my phone, and I had to switch over to Twitter real quick.
No worries.
Okay.
Anyone who hasn't asked a question or who has a comment or anything like that, please let us know in the chat, and we will discuss it.
This is the most activity we've had in a live show in such a long time, and I love it. Okay, so the same person, she wants a comparison between Queen Levana and Catherine, and she said she hated Levana's story in Ferris and felt like she was being ridiculous. And then she says, "Maybe I'm heartless." I see what you did there.
Oh my goodness. No, I feel like Queen Levana, like, I felt bad for Queen Levana, but I felt really, really bad for Kath. And, like, Queen Levana, there were, like, little moments of me, like, oh, that sucks. Or, like, she had a hard life, and that's unfortunate. But, like, I feel like Catherine in Heartless tried her best to make positive of a situation and, like, make her dreams come true. And, like, everything that's bad that happened to her really wasn't her fault. Like, there were just so many things that she couldn't control that, went badly for her, and that's what made her heartless, made her so jaded. But Queen Levana just, like, dug her own grave, you know what I mean? She just did bad thing after bad thing after bad thing after bad thing without caring about anyone else's feelings or, anything like that. She just cared about herself, and she was selfish and a horrible person. And so, like, I don't know. They're bad in different ways, but I feel a lot worse for Catherine than I do for Levana, for sure.
And I've really discovered this more recently. For people who enjoy the Lunar Chronicles, but they don't want to read Ferris, and I understand why you wouldn't want to read Ferris, because maybe you'll take away from the original story, the main series. But I think, and I don't remember who it was that I like commented on their thing, but Ferris, if you want to understand why Levana is the way she is, I think it's a good story to read. Oh, it was the BookTube couple that I commented on their video. That Ferris, if you want to understand her story, then read it. If you want to understand how this hatred for Cinder happened, read it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also not necessary. That being said, I completely agree with everything that you said. I feel like extremely bad for Catherine. How all these things were just against her, and in a way, I believe that Catherine just went insane. Like, this is her form of insanity. And Levana...
And who wouldn't? Who, you know what I mean?
Serious.
Like, she literally saw the love of her life die in front of her. Who wouldn't go crazy?
And Levana doesn't have to be the way she is. She didn't have to attempt to kill Cinder. She didn't have to do any of that. And, I mean, granted, if she hadn't done any of that, we wouldn't have the Lunar Chronicles, but it's just Levana did it as a choice. And yes, in a way, Catherine did it as a choice too, but she was insane by that point. She was just, and I don't like to curse in our things, but she was batshit crazy.
Yeah, she really was. Like, I mean, like, just the jealousy and the selfishness, and there was just no getting around that. And Levana deserves much less sympathy than Catherine does. And yeah, so Levana was cuckoo nuts.
And I'd also just like to point out, this doesn't have to do with any story, actually. I'd like to point out that we, at least once a year, have a Marissa Meyer book.
Yeah.
For
I think
Once Upon a Read Along.
The second one, because we did Stars Above. And
wow, we had 2 last year and 2 this year.
And there's going to be 2 next year because we're doing Wires and Nerve in February.
Oh,
and
yes,
we're going to do the School for Vigilantes.
I didn't even think about that. I hope we don't have a November book yet. Oh, good to know.
Because her new book series is coming out next year too. I don't even think it has a release date yet or anything like that.
I'm going to look at that
next year.
So I'll look at that.
While you're looking at that, I'm going to go through the rest of the chat because I have it up here now. Fancy Babe 120 wants a shout out. Hello.
Hello.
And she says, have you read other books by Marissa Meyer? Yes, we both have.
Absolutely.
I have read, and Chloe have read. We've both read every single Marissa Meyer book.
Books. I look forward to whenever a Marissa Meyer book comes out.
And then she also said, do you wish she made the choice? And I'm not exactly sure what she means by do you wish she made the choice?
Where are you looking? Oh.
Yeah, it was the newest one. She said, do you wish she made the choice? I'm not exactly who you're saying she is. So if you could clarify that, we will definitely answer your question. I'm just not exactly sure who you're talking about specifically. And then, so clarify that for us and we'll answer your question for sure. And I think that's all of the comments.
Oh, there's one from the same person. Do you admire Marissa Meyer? Absolutely.
That's like a crazy question.
That is a crazy question.
She's my queen. Queen Marissa Meyer.
She's the queen of the retellings, man.
Yeah, definitely. And like I'm really excited for her new series because it's her first book series that she's not, or her first book in general that's not a retelling. So I'm just really excited to see how she writes and what she does with a story that's not a retelling.
See, and I got to meet her once earlier this year, and she's just the nicest person ever. What was that?
I said, I'm so jealous of you. I want to meet her so bad.
She's so nice. Whenever they come to, we may have to road trip, but whenever they come to Florida, they always go to Coral Gables, which is on the opposite coast and south of here.
Mm-hmm.
But I asked her, I said, are you ever going to write a follow-up to what happened at the end of Stars Above? And she doesn't plan to, but I want her to.
Is Wires and Nerve before or after Stars Above?
let me find out while I'm looking at it. While this is loading, I'll say that.
Sorry, go ahead. And then we have a question that's really good.
Oh, okay. I'm really excited for Wires and Nerve because I'm trying to figure out how a graphic novel is going to be 200 pages like this one is. Because it's obviously not going to be really thin like Saga. But I'm excited. And there's also supposed to be 2 of them, and I think in 2018 then, predicting way far in the future, we're going to have another 2 Marissa Meyer books if she releases the second Wires and Nerve, and then the another book
for the School for Vigilante series. Yeah.
Gatlins.
So Fancy Babe 120 says, does anyone else remind you of Marissa Meyer? Yes. CJ Redwine wrote, oh God, what's the name of that called? The Shadow Queen.
The Shadow Queen, yeah.
Yes, and her main villain reminded me a lot of Levana, and the story in general was a fantasy retelling of Snow White, I believe, and it gave me all of the Marissa Meyer feels. So definitely CJ Redwine, the Shadow Queen, was
and that
Meyer to me.
book really reminds me for me, I feel like every retelling has its own thing. Like I've read a lot of other retellings, some were good, some were bad, and I feel like while yes, every retelling has that common theme, they're all different in their own way. And specifically with the Shadow Queen, that reminded me of Snow White and the Huntsman.
Yeah.
That movie.
So Sydney DeGuire said, "Have you read Colleen Oak's book Wonderland?"
No,
And
but I want to.
I think I have it.
You do, because I remember seeing it.
Okay, yeah, but she said it came out 2 years ago. I thought it came out this year. But maybe
It may have.
no.
I have Goodreads up, so I'll
Let me
look.
go get the book.
Okay. Okay, so while she gets the book, the Gatlin School for Vigilantes is expected in 2017. And let's see, it's loading. My computer's really slow. You're back.
Yeah.
November 7th, 2017.
Woo-hoo. Okay, so I have Colleen Oak's book Queen of Hearts, but does that mean this is the second book in a series? Because
Oh, that's the first one, I'm pretty sure.
said, have you read Colleen Oak's book Wonderland? So does that mean this is the second book? Because this is by Colleen Oakes, but it's called Queen of Hearts?
No, that's the first one, it says. No, it's... Wait. Okay. It says it's a prequel to Alice in Wonder... But, okay, it's a prequel to Alice in Wonderland, but it came out 2 years before Heartless. It came out May 3rd of this year.
Yeah, but she's talking about a Colleen Oakes book called Wonderland. This one is called Queen of Hearts.
Okay, well... Oh, wait. Okay. Queen of Hearts is the first book in its own series. So, okay. Hold on. Let me...
So then Wonderland must be a different book.
If it is, I'm very interested in it. So I'll...
Yeah, me too, definitely.
Go over to...
I read the first couple of chapters of this one, and it was amazing, and I had to put it down. I actually read the first couple of chapters for that chapter tag, and I had to put it down because something else, like, piqued my interest a tad bit more, but I still do really want to read this.
Does Colleen Oakes, like, specifically do retellings like Marissa Meyer? Because she has this other series called Wendy Darling, so, you know, Peter Pan, I'm guessing?
Right, I don't know.
Okay, so she has Queen of Hearts, which is the first one in the Queen of Hearts saga. The second one is called The Wonder, and that... What? I'm so confused. Okay, so the second one is called The Wonder, but it says it was published in 2014. I'm so confused.
Maybe that's the one that she was talking about, The Wonder and Wonderland.
Did this go to, like... Did this get published in Europe first, like, two years before?
She just commented, I think I just misspoke about the title. Whoops. You have the first one. It's just a reprint. So this one book that she's talking about.
Oh, yeah, because on Queen of Hearts it says published in 2014 as well.
Okay, yeah. So then good. I'm glad I have the first one then. I was really worried. I was like, damn it. I don't want to have the second one.
Oh, I do that all the time. Now I need to, like, look more into Colleen Oakes after this live show.
Seriously. Okay, so we have another question from Fancy Babe 120. She said, does any characters from Harry Potter remind you of Heartless? Remind you of anyone of Heartless? So...
No. Only because
maybe...
You know,
the only thing that I could possibly think of is Jess kind of sort of a little bit reminds me of the Weasley twins. Just a tad. I think the Weasley twins are a bit more like out there and crazy and jokery. And Jess is a bit more like mysterious and cool and calm and collected. But
I mean, I didn't really make any comparisons to it when I was reading it. And I'm not really, I'm trying to think of one now, but I can't really think of any.
Yeah.
I feel like they're just two very separate things.
Sydney DeGuire says Colleen Oakes for book club, ?
Probably.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to be reading this one very soon. And then I know that there's another one coming out. I don't know the name of it. It has a red cover, though.
We need to fill, like, 6 months worth of books, so yeah,
Yeah,
we should
so if
probably
you guys have any ideas of what we can do for next year, for the second half of next year specifically, we're looking for books to correspond.
I will tell you exactly what we need. We need June, July, September, October, November, December. So tweet us at Once Read Along.
So the
with
last
your
6
suggestions.
months of 2017, we need book ideas for what to talk about. And then we have another question that says, from Skyboy770, he says, can you relate to any of the characters? Can you relate to any of the characters, Chloe?
Come back to me and I'll give you an answer.
Okay. I think I can relate to. Oh man, this is so hard.
It is hard.
So I suffer from bipolar disorder, and I feel like Hatta, which is how you pronounce it apparently, which I think is very weird. But I feel like he's very like level-headed and nice and stuff, but there's like in kind of like a second he can switch gears, which is a big thing when you have bipolar disorder. So that's kind of like a weird way that I can relate to one of the characters, but his the way that his brain works, I feel like, and his personality I can definitely relate to because of my bipolar disorder. And he's like literally going crazy, and that's kind of how I feel like a lot of the time because of my bipolar. So yeah, I think I can relate to Hatta and the way that his brain works a lot.
I don't have an answer for this. I just don't have one.
Oh, that's a good idea. Fancy Baby said to read Carve the Mark, but that comes out in January, and I think we already have a January book.
We have a January book, which I'm not going to announce it at this time.
Is it Carve the Mark?
You'll know that I
don't think it's Carve the Mark.
No, it's not Carve the Mark.
Yeah, I did.
And I wanted us to do this one, but after hearing some different things going on with Carve the Mark, I'm glad we're not doing it.
There is a lot.
Which I haven't read everything about it. I don't completely understand it because I haven't read everything about it. I'm glad we're not doing it.
Yeah.
And I also feel like, Veronica Roth hasn't released anything since Allegiant, and we all know how Allegiant ended, so.
There's definitely like a really bad rap going around with Carve the Mark.
But I think it also, like, we had already started to plan for next year before we really considered Carve the Mark.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So, we now... Wait, hold on real quick.
Questions.
Okay, hold on really quick. If you guys haven't been to our live shows before, we announce the next month's book at the end of every live show. Typically, my video on my channel for it goes out before our live shows. So we will be announcing our January book at the live show for our December book, which we'll talk about later. And it goes up on my channel on January 4th. So it'll be announced then.
Yep. And, okay, so we have like 3 new questions. Fancy Babe 120 says, what age range would you recommend the book for? And I think that, normally young adult age range is like 12 to 18. And I don't see that being, a bad age range for this book. There is one small moment where the romance between Jess and Catherine becomes physical, but it's not like explicit or anything.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you're mature enough, a mature 12 or 13-year-old, it's not a problem for the young adult age range. Do you think you agree, Chloe?
I agree. For me, my whole thing, and this goes for young adults, for adults, erotica, anything. If you are mature enough to handle it, by all means, do it.
Yeah, it's all about your maturity.
Be mature enough to handle it, and you're fine.
Yeah. Skyboy770 says, and we're going to try our hardest not to get off topic, and some of these questions are. So we're going to answer the next 2 questions pretty quickly, I feel like. Do you guys like the Throne of Glass series? I do like the Throne of Glass series. I don't remember if you've read it or not, Chloe.
I read the first 2 books, but I'm not caught up on it, and I'm trying to get caught up on it again.
Yeah,
but I do enjoy it. Yes,
I'm a couple books behind as well, but I do like it.
We should read that together, like away from Once Upon a Read Along.
I like it. What's going on with Carve the Mark, says Fancy Babe 120, and to make it like short, sweet, and simple, basically there is a dark-skinned group of people in the book, and they are portrayed as savages and like less than human, and a lot of people were very offended by that, and are calling the book racist. And I have not read the book, and I have not really looked into what's going on with that, but that's basically what I know. But there's a lot of controversy behind it being racist and portraying people of color in a very negative light.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm still gonna read it.
Yeah, I'm gonna read it. Just
I'll judge it then.
I want it exactly. I'm gonna read it and give my perspective on it then when it comes out in January and make my own opinion about it. And I think that's what everyone should do.
Not saying that the people have read the arcs, not saying that their opinion is to be judged or anything. Their opinion is completely valid.
Yes.
If they've read the arc, then yes, their opinion is valid. We just have not read the book before, and we would judge it then.
Yes. Very well said. Cindy DeGuire says, were there any ships you were totally behind in Heartless or totally against, even non-canon? Do you want to go with that?
Jest and Catherine, the ship sailed long ago. I really hated the King and Catherine together personally because I say this in my book talk too. For one, I picture him as like this like middle-aged man, and she is this young woman, and that is just no. But I also, and I said this in my book talk, I just thought the King was a complete idiot the entire time. He is not fit to be a king. I don't know why he's a king. He is just stupid to me. So completely against that. All for Catherine and Jess.
Yes, I will have to agree. I definitely ship Kath and Jess. I was way against the King and Catherine, and I felt for her so badly. If you guys have seen the Disney animated Alice in Wonderland and the way that the King is portrayed in that movie, he's short and fat, and
that's what I was thinking of at like towards the end of this book.
Yes, and he's like a yes man, like, oh yes, dear, that's perfect. Yes, whatever you want, dear. Yes, of course, we can do that. Yes, of course, whatever you want, I will give it to you. Yes. So it's like that is not what a monarch or a country needs at all.
I agree.
Horrible. Another relationship that I was completely and totally against was Peter and his wife. Peter.
I didn't really have an opinion on them, but I understand where you're coming from.
Well, at first, I thought that he was abusing her. And
yeah.
When she was like, do you have any more of the pumpkin cake or whatever it was that she baked? Like it was a pumpkin, some sort of cake, or I don't know. And she was like obsessive, and I didn't know what the heck was going on at the time. I mean, by the end of the novel, it makes a lot of sense. But he like grabs her arm and pulls her away, and I thought that he was abusing her. And he was really kind of just like, he did it in a really bad way, but he was really kind of just trying to like protect other people from her and like keep her that she was the Jabberwocky, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
I don't know why that sounded wrong. Keep the fact that she was the Jabberwocky a secret. So it kind of made sense, but the way that it was portrayed, that he was abusive towards her, and I was just like, I hated him from the minute that we met him because of how horrible he treated his wife and basically everyone else in the book.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess like by the time we found out that he was kind of just trying to protect his wife from herself and to protect everyone else from his wife, it makes sense. But he just did it in a really bad way, and it looked really bad, towards him. So,
yeah.
And then I think we have another couple of questions.
Yeah.
Do you hope Heartless will become a series from Skyboy770? I don't know.
I,
Okay, so I think that if it were a series, I wouldn't be upset. I would read it, of course, but the way that this was ended was perfect. There wasn't too much,
mhm.
there wasn't too little. It gave me kind of like a completeness. I felt complete at the end of it. I don't need any more out of it. It, of course, did end at a cliffhanger, which was God. And we kind of know what happens next. You know, there was even that moment, oh my God, I loved this, when Kath's parents were talking and they were like, did you know that someone found an upside down rabbit hole or something like that? Do you remember that?
No, no, I don't remember that.
Oh my God, they were at dinner and they were like
What
talking,
did I
and
that?
Kat's father was like, did you know that across Wonderland they found, and it's a British accent because that's what I hear it all for some reason, that they found an upside down rabbit hole over by the looking glass or something like that. And Kat's mom was just like, oh, pish posh, like let's talk about our daughter getting married off
What?
to the king. You know, there was like a moment and I was like, that is so cool. Like obviously the upside down rabbit hole is where Alice is going to come through eventually. And I loved that. There's just so many little Easter eggs for
I
the
wish I could
original
find that now.
story. I wish I could tell you where in the story it was, but it just stood out to me so much about that. But back to the original question of do you hope it becomes a series? I'm always down for more Marissa Meyer books. Like, I will not complain.
Yeah,
But I think that this ended very well. It being a standalone makes sense.
I agree. I everything was everything that needed to be said was said. It all flowed perfectly, and it ended where we expected it to end with her becoming the Queen of Hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do I wish it was going to become a series? Yes. Do I think it's necessary? Not really.
Yeah.
I I mean, the best I can say is I look forward to more retellings from Marissa Meyer.
Yeah, I'm kind of really skeptical about her Vigilantes, School for Vigilantes book that's coming out because it's not a retelling. But I'm going to eat up everything that Marissa Meyer publishes because I'm obsessed with her.
Okay, have you? Okay, you know the books that young adult authors are writing, like such as Margaret Stoll's Black Widow series, and how they're writing about superheroes and stuff. I want to say it's going to be like that, or think it's going to be like that, but you know, we don't really have a lot of information on it yet.
Yeah, I think it was about kids with superpowers or something like that.
It is, but part of me wants to think part of me wants to think what I just said, and the other part of me is thinking like that new Disney thing, like Descendants, and how it's like the children of princesses and villains, and it's really weird.
Yeah, and I am honestly over that trope of kids with superpowers. So that's another thing that makes me really nervous about this. But I do love school settings. I love classrooms and like books that take place inside of a school. So that has something
I've
going for it.
I've never really read a book about kids with superpowers. I guess Miss Peregrine's, but I wouldn't really call them superpowers.
Mhm.
That's really the only thing. Like, I haven't read The Darkest Minds. Those are really the only two that I can think of that are like that. So I'm open minded, especially because it's Marissa Meyer. But
Yeah.
the only thing is, it's not a retelling. So we haven't read anything from her that's not a retelling. So this is going to be interesting.
Skyboy770 said, I subscribed. Thank you so much. I got my email that you subscribed to me. I appreciate it. Make sure you go subscribe to Chloe as well if you aren't already subscribed to her at the Brunette Bibliophile. I think I actually forgot to put her link in the description, but Brunette Bibliophile, I'll link it afterwards. Definitely go and find her and subscribe to her as well.
Let's get us to 900. I got an awesome giveaway planned.
Yes, and it 1,000.
Yes, 1,000 in 2017 is the plan. I want to reach 900 really fast though.
You can do it. Also, Fancy Babe 120 says, how long did it take you to read Heartless? It took me 3 days to read Heartless because last week, the live show was supposed to be last week, but my husband got really, really sick with pneumonia, so we had to push it to this week. And because it was supposed to be last Sunday, I was like rushing to read it because I was really behind, so it took me 3 days, which is like, it usually takes me 4 or 5 days to read a book, depending on how busy I am, but this time it took me 3 days to read it.
For me, it took about a week because I started reading that, and then I started listening to audiobooks too when I was driving or doing homework or whatever. So audiobooks kind of got pushed forward. But then that was also the same weekend that was Readerama, our latest round. So my goal was to finish Heartless before the end of Sunday, and I finished it that Sunday. So it took about a week.
Yeah, depending on how busy I am, sometimes it takes me up to a week to finish a book, but I had to like scramble to get this one done, and I literally read for like 5 hours straight on Friday night so that I could like process all of my thoughts on Saturday, and then on Saturday, like my husband got so sick and we were at the doctor's like all day and on Sunday as well, so it just wasn't happening on Sunday, but you know. Fancy Babe 120 said, when did you start getting into Marissa Meyer? You go first because my answer is going to run off of your answer.
Well, I'm trying to think. I remember I was in Books A Million, and Books A Million is like my favorite bookstore because of their clearance section. And I was in the clearance section and I saw Scarlet there in a hardcover. So, hardcover of Scarlet for $4. No, I'd never read Cinder, but yeah, I wanted to. Let me just buy the second one because it makes perfect sense. And then I had that for months and months before I finally ordered Cinder on Book Outlet. And I don't remember the exact time I started reading Cinder. I want to say it was like 2014 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And wait. No, it was 2013 because I remember being really excited for Cress. And I read Cinder and Scarlet, and I fell in love with them. And I just remember being up at like 2 o'clock in the morning finishing Cinder and just being like, that was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But I've basically been on board with it since a little bit before Cress.
Yeah, I think I was around the same time too, but I saw Cinder at the store like after Scarlet came out, I believe. And you've seen the cover of Cinder. It has like this foot, and it's like half human and half like machine. And it was like not with it. I had never read a fairy tale retelling before, and I was just not sold on science fiction fairy tale retellings or science fiction in general. And then I believe it was Chloe who was like, you need to read it. Like, this is like the best series ever. You have to read it. And I was like, I'm not going to like it, but okay, I'll give it a try. And it was amazing. Like, I could not put Cinder down. And I fell in love with Cinder and Kai and just the world and Marissa Meyer's writing, which I can rave about for hours. And I just fell in love I think it was right after, it was like 2014, like right at the beginning when I started my channel in 2014.
And look at us now. Hardcore Marissa Meyer fans.
Skyboy770 asked for your channel name, so I gave it to him in the chat, so hopefully he's going to go subscribe to you. And Noah the Gamer Geek said I subscribed, and he said I subscribed to your bibliophile as well. So thank you guys so much. That makes us like so happy, and thank you guys again so much for being here for the live show. I'm really excited.
Ooh, I got a really good idea. Hold on.
Yeah.
Ow.
While you do that, I'm going to go
become a part of the bibliophile fam. That was really stupid, but I found it necessary.
It was good. I love your thing. Chloe made me one of those signs too that has my channel name on it.
Become a biblio and an owl.
Fancy Babe 120 said, what do you think of the cover, and what do you think of the book without the cover? And that's a great question. So yeah, I love the cover as well. And then if you guys have not seen the nakedness cover of this
nakedness,
that's what I call it. I call it the naked book cover. I don't know what else to call it, but it is gorgeous. It's almost more gorgeous without the cover on there because it looks like, I don't even know, but it's got the crown on this side and then the jester's hat on this side, and I'm just like dead because it's so perfect. And
it's not like that typical book feel. It's not like papery. It's nice and leathery.
Yeah, it really is. It's so nice.
Maybe
Well,
it's like pleather.
I like really really appreciate when um publishers like go through the process of making something on this, because if I lose the dust jacket, at least my book looks okay on the shelf, and
Yeah.
it just looks so good, and I appreciate when publishers go through the extra step to put something amazing on the naked book cover, and I love it. I love both of them. I approve. Although I will say I am very, very, very jealous of everybody who
You
got
just read my mind.
everyone who got the November Owl crate. I like. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sure like everyone and their mother has seen it, but like tell us in the comments or in the chat whether you have seen that cover or not, because the Heartless Owl Crate edition is absolutely gorgeous, and somebody please sell it to me.
Yeah, like it's the white cover, and it's white, and then the vines on the front are black, and it's the most gorgeous thing in the entire world, and I want a copy, and I'm kicking myself
Like
for not getting the November Owl crate.
like and this doesn't have to do with the cover, but is anybody else annoyed by the fact that this isn't the same height as the Lunar Chronicles books?
Yeah.
I'm very annoyed by that, because now I have like this one Marissa Meyer book that's taller than all the other ones.
Yep. It's like super annoying. Is this the same? Oh yeah, it is still Fewell and Friends. That Fewell and Friends published her Lunar Chronicles books too. That's a bummer.
Yeah. Come on, guys, get with the program. Book height is important.
It seriously is.
People don't think it is. It's important.
They need to have like booktubers and active readers on like panels for things like this, so that they get our input. You know.
We can talk about that in our panel.
Yes.
I'm sorry. We have a panel coming up at a Florida event. You know, if you live in Florida or you want a road trip to Florida, go to Space Coast 2017, because we're going to be there.
Fancy Babe 120 asks, paperback or hardcover?
Hardcover because of how durable it is. Paperback because it's cheaper than hardcover. That's always an easy question for me.
I'm going to have to go with hardcover. You know, I used to say paperback because of how cheap it is, and that was, you know what, that was really the only reason I like paperback. But now I like hardcover a lot more. They look better on my shelf. They're durable. I can't break the spine. You know, yeah, hardcover 100%. I like hardcover a lot better, for sure.
See, I always the answer that I gave, I always say that because I don't have a straight answer. You know.
Another question from Fancy Babe 120. Do you think they should make a movie for Heartless?
I think they should make movies for all of my favorite young adult books.
Yeah, I'll have to agree. I feel like that the Alice in Wonderland book movies are a tad overrated, especially because of the new live action ones with Johnny Depp. Especially the second one. I was highly disappointed in the second one, which was a really big bummer. But
as much as I would love to see a Lunar Chronicles movie adaptation, and I hate admitting this to myself, but it's honestly really true, I don't think retelling books are a huge thing that are going to happen in the movies anytime soon, particularly because we have all of these Disney remakes, and people will probably get confused and be like, WTF, what is this?
Yeah, and Disney is like making live action movies now of all of their versions of the fairy tales, and I feel like the movie industry is over retellings, which is really unfortunate because I am still really into them. So as much as I would like to see a movie, I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think retellings are a big thing in the movie world, because people are going to get confused by it.
Mm-hmm.
And especially people who aren't book people and haven't read the book, they're going to get confused by it, and they're going to probably trash it. Yeah, and it sucks.
So we don't have any more questions now. So is there anything that you wrote down on your notes that we haven't talked about yet?
Yeah, really quick, I'm going to say it, and then I want to run to the restroom really quick while you talk about your thoughts. I hate doing that in the middle of live shows, but, you know, you got to do what you got to do. You know? Oh my gosh, we talked about so much. I'm going to leave you with this one sentence for you to figure out. I hated her mom. Now I'm going to go to the bathroom.
God, you should leave me there like that? No, her mom, I mean, like, she is the villain of the story. Like, if you're not looking at how much you're supposed to hate the king or how much the Jabberwocky is creating conflict in the story, her mother is like the villain of the story. She doesn't care about anyone else but her own, about her own like goals in marrying off Kath, which is really unfortunate because a mother not caring about the, you know, needs and wants of her own child is really unfortunate. I got a question. Are any of you guys getting the Lunar Chronicles coloring book that's coming out in late December? I am not, because I am not a fan of the coloring book game. I don't know about Chloe. I think she likes the coloring books a little bit more than me, but I'll let her answer that when she comes back. But back to her mom. Yeah, she was the worst. And I just wish that she would have listened. And her dad, too. Like, there was a moment where Kath finally confronts her parents and was like, look, I don't want to marry the king. I want to make a bakery, and I want to, you know, this is what I want to do, and this is my goal for my life, and these are my dreams. And her father even comes and was like, no, you're going to marry the king, and we're not going to help you fund this bakery idea. And at that moment, I was just really hoping that her father would, like,
come through.
Yeah, like, would be that person that she needed her to be, and he wasn't. He, like, went with his wife and Kath's mom and, like, totally ruined the whole thing. And I was really rooting for him to be the good guy.
Yeah, I was too, but we knew in the end that she was going to become the Queen of Hearts, so.
Yeah, but the whole time I was rooting for her father to be like, yes, just let her do it. Let her own the bakery. Let her get the money and let her live her dreams. I really, really wanted that to happen. Like, that whole conversation, I was on the edge of my seat because I was just, like, waiting for the dad to speak up and, you know, be there for her and support her and what she wanted to do. We had a question while you were gone asking if you were going to get the Lunar Chronicles coloring book when it comes out.
I think it actually already came out, but I'm going to wait for after Christmas and then get it. Probably.
Yeah, I'm not going to get it because I don't do the coloring book game. I tried and it wasn't successful. I can give you my coloring book that I bought because I'm not using it.
Which one is it?
It's just like it's not like a book coloring book. It's just a random adult coloring book.
Oh. Yeah, here's the thing. I have 2 adult coloring books, and I don't color in them as much as I would like to, but I do coloring videos on my second channel, so.
Yeah.
Go subscribe to Chloessence. Except don't type in Chloessence on YouTube because you won't get my channel.
That's a bummer. So how do they find you?
Go to Brunette Bibliophile and look in the description of my videos.
Good idea. Anything else on your notes?
Let's see. We talked about a lot of this just through questions.
Yeah.
Hey, we talked about everything just by answering questions.
Yeah.
Do we have more questions?
So, what do you think about, like, I mean, I could comment on the symbolism of Jess's goal to come to, what was the area of Wonderland that Kath lives in? I can't remember.
Hearts.
Hearts, of course. Jess coming to Hearts with a goal of stealing Kath's heart. Like, the symbolism of that. Can we talk about that for a second? It's just crazy.
I honestly, I constantly forget about that because I overshadow it with everything else and all the other drama that happened.
Yeah, I mean, it was the whole thing that started Jess coming over there.
Yeah.
But it was like, I mean, it was a small portion of the book, but it literally started everything. And the symbolism of it, that his goal was to come to Hearts to steal Kath's heart, and he literally stole her heart, just not in the way that he was meant to.
Yeah, in a better way.
Oh, and then, like, how frustrated were you when they're about to go into, what's the area that Jess is from? I don't remember. Chess. Thank you. Why are you so good at this and I'm not? So they're about to cross over into Chess, And then they find out that Kath's friend is trapped by Peter, and then she's like, "No, I have to go back." And you're like, "No," and you know that it's about to go down.
Leave her behind for once.
For once. I mean, she ratted you out to her parents, and as much as I was like, you know what, if that was my best friend, I'd probably do the same thing, but you know it's going to lead to somebody dying.
Yeah, and
it's not going to happen.
And because we haven't talked about her, can we talk about Marianne? Because you know, she's all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
She's all over the place with this story.
I mean, like, at first I really liked her because they were friends and they've known each other since, like, forever, and they were going to start the bakery together, and she had that analytical mind that Kath needed to start a bakery, and I just really liked her, and I feel like she ratted her out to her parents with good intentions. Like, she was just scared for Kath's safety, you know, and but yeah, like, you know, as much as that sucks and like as many negative things that led to, you know, she really was just looking out for Kath.
Yeah, it just ended badly.
Yeah, and then to go and get trapped by Peter. I don't even remember why she went back there. Do you remember why she went back there?
What, back to Peter?
To Peter's house? Yeah.
What, after she saved Marianne?
No, like, why did Marianne go back to the Peter?
I
don't even remember.
I
feel like it was a really dumb reason.
I think it was. Oh well.
Not oh well. Jeff just got killed because of it. Stupid Marianne.
I mean, that's true too.
Yeah.
Marianne.
Okay, I know. Well, Marianne.
I mean, yeah, in the end, Kath ended up hating Marianne anyway, which I don't blame her.
Yeah. Well, she ended up hating everybody. You know, that's what happens when you see the love of your life get murdered right in front of you. Like,
I'm trying to find out more information on the new trilogy, the Gatlin trilogy coming out by her.
While you do that, we have questions. Someone said, "How old do you think Kath is?" That was from Fancy Babe 120.
I think it's mentioned that she's 16.
Yeah, I don't remember. But 16 or 18 makes sense.
I think it's even mentioned in the synopsis on Goodreads, and I'll check that in a second.
Skyboy770 said, "Who are your favorite booktubers or YouTubers?" And I mean, I have a bunch. I like Daily Bumps. If you're not talking about booktubers, those are like daily vloggers. And then like all of my favorite booktubers are the judges for the YA Booktube Awards, and you can go check out that video on my channel if you want to find out who all the judges are, because they are amazing. If I want to just say a really quick, fast answer, do you want to answer that quickly? Who are your favorite booktubers?
Booktubers, I really enjoy yourself, first of all, and then there's Katie Tastic, Jessie the Reader. I don't really watch Christine as much as I do those two. Who else? I feel like there's other ones that I like have to watch. Oh, Emma Books, I like her. And as far as non-booktubers, right now I really like Psycho Soprano, which is Colleen Ballinger, as well as all of her channels. So Psycho Soprano, Miranda Sings, and then Colleen Vlogs, and then Shane Dawson. I just watched like a ton of his videos today. Tipsy Bartender, and then his vlog channel, Tipsy Vlogs. And I think that's it.
And then another question, did you guys go to Y'all Fest? I went to Y'all Fest, and I'm going to be doing a video about that next week, I believe. And Chloe wasn't able to come.
I mean, I went to another book event. I would have liked to go to Y'all Fest, but I didn't go. I went to a different event.
Yeah, I was very lucky that I was able to go, and it was all very last minute. And like, I brought 5,000 books. Like, literally, I had a huge green suitcase filled with books, and I learned my lesson to not do that next year. But it was a very rewarding experience, and I really enjoyed it.
And on the topic of cons and events, did you guys? I know you saw it because we talked a little about. We should talk about it more. Sam from, was it Thoughts on Tomes, announced that she's planning a con specifically for reviewers and booktubers, and let me just say how much I really hope that it's in the South so we can road trip. Because
I'm pretty sure that Sam lives in the South-ish, and my name is Marinas from My Name is Marinas. I think she lives in Florida.
Yes, Orlando, I think.
Yes.
Why? Is she
So,
helping her plan it?
huh?
You helping her plan the con?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Oh, this is great.
I
This
know.
is perfect.
I know.
The stars are aligning in our favor.
Yes. Like, what if it's in Orlando?
Oh my, no matter where it is, as long as it's in like a decent, well, okay, within reason, as long as it's in the South, within reason, we're road tripping no matter what.
Yes.
It's a thing.
Yep.
So, start packing, start planning. Let's do this.
I'm so excited. I have never been more excited for an event in my entire life.
You and
Okay.
I have like so many different things that we're road tripping to in the next year.
I know. All right, guys. So, we don't have anything left to talk about on Chloe's list, and I think I've talked about everything that I wanted to talk about. If you guys have any last-minute questions, let us know in the chat. I don't know where it is. I guess if you're on your phone, it's down here, and if you're on the computer, it's over there. So let me know if you guys have any more questions or comments or anything about Marissa Meyer or the Lunar Chronicles or Heartless. Let us know, and we will answer them before this thing is over. But what we're going to do now is we're going to go through our final thoughts and like kind of going over what we thought about the book and our rating and everything. And then we're going to talk about our December book of the month. So you want to go first, Chloe, or shall I?
Let's see, 5 out of 5 stars. This book broke me. I'm still broken. Even though, okay, so we have the Wires and Nerve graphic novel coming out next year. Even though we're not expecting anything as far as retellings from Marissa Meyer coming up soon, I still have hopes, good hopes, high hopes, and really am just looking forward for a lot more of her books. And I'm really happy with this book, even though I'm sad. I'm happy and I'm sad with this book, but it was really good. And if you haven't read it, which you should have if you watched this live show, go read it.
Yes, I as well gave it 5 out of 5 stars. The writing style was amazing. The characters were awesome. The ending was perfect. Didn't leave off on a cliffhanger or leave me wanting more. And it had so much information in there and like Easter eggs for the Alice in Wonderland original story. And I just loved it. And I think Marissa Meyer did an amazing, amazing job like with this world and the world of Wonderland and doing it justice, and I think it's just amazing, and you definitely need to read it if you haven't already. I thought it was amazing. Like, I can't say amazing enough because it was just fabulous.
Okay, so this is my job. I love doing this job. So our December book of the month, if you haven't already seen did you do a video for it? I don't think you did. Okay, so if you haven't already seen both of our videos, which I think yours recently came out and mine was out a few weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago, our December book of the month is A Mobster Calls by Patrick Ness. And it was supposed to be a different book, but we ended up changing it to this because the movie comes out in early 2017, actually in January. And I didn't know it was becoming a movie until I was at the movies and saw a preview for it. So we decided that this is going to be our December book of the month, and it's filled with pictures and writing, and it looks very short.
I am really worried about getting this book in time because there's 3 copies at my library right now, and I'm next in line to get the book, but my library shows what date the book is due back from the person who has it now, and one of the dates is in the end of December, and the other 2 dates are the very beginning of January. Ooh. But it's still, it's going to be cutting it really, really close.
Well, the good thing is, and I just checked with this book, it's 200 pages, 203. Okay. So
I could probably read that in a day or
exactly.
Yeah.
And the live show is an interesting situation.
I said this in my video. The live show is almost always the first Sunday of every month. Of course, depending if my husband gets deathly ill with pneumonia, or because of holidays or something like that. In this case, the first
holiday.
Sunday of January is New Year's Day. So,
and I know I'm going to be recovering from New Year's Eve.
yeah,
So
I don't even think I'm not even going to be back from Orlando. I'm coming home from seeing my family for Christmas on the 1st. So it's not a very good day to have it. So it's going to be the following Sunday,
which is
the 8th?
Sunday, January 8th, 2017, at 6 p.m. on Elizabeth's channel, of course, as it always is. And that's pretty much it that has to do with that. So I know a few people commented on my video that they're excited for this. So definitely read. I'm trying to make sure my calendar doesn't fall here. So definitely come read A Monster Calls with us, and then join us for the live show. I would just like to point out that I think this live show was pretty amazing, like better than any other one we've done before, because we've never gotten this many questions.
No, thank you guys so much for everyone who is still here, or who came or who asked questions. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Thank you for everyone who said they subscribed in the chat. That just makes us so happy, and it gives us more of a push to keep going with this, and it just makes my heart melt. Thank you guys so much.
And another thing that actually it has to do with this, but it doesn't have to do with a book or anything. We will have been doing this for 3 years next year.
Next year when?
January. January we'll be going into our 3rd year.
No, that's impossible because my 3-year anniversary is in August.
Okay, that doesn't make sense. Hold on. We'll be starting our 3rd year of doing this in January.
Yeah, so our 2-year anniversary
sometime in January.
Is in January, and then that'll be the beginning of our 3 years. So yeah.
I could actually probably pinpoint our actual
first day.
Yeah. Okay, well,
because the first live show was on Danny's channel, right?
Yes. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, when we started this, we used to be a trio instead. We had Danny from The Insatiable Bookie as well. Well, the first live show was on her channel. She's no longer doing Once Upon a Read Along with us, and she completely revamped her channel, so all her videos were deleted, and our live show was deleted along with that, which I'm bummed about, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, so I don't know how would you find out what the very first day was?
The original announcement.
Oh, okay.
Would you consider our live show date the very first time we ever did this, or just January 1st?
I don't. When was the live show date?
Give me a second, and I'll find it. Right now, I'm at the middle of last year, I think. No, the beginning of this year. No, it was the beginning. It doesn't matter. Let's see. Once Upon a Read Along. I'm about to watch my own video. So my video went up on January 4th, but the live show was on February 7th.
Oh, well, January 4th sounds good to me.
January 4th.
So our very first book was we read in January.
Yeah.
And then the live show. Okay, yeah. So January we started the read along. We read along with other people.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So January. That's exciting. I'm glad it's in January because that just makes it easy to remember.
Yeah, and it makes more sense. So we'll be starting our 3rd year this next month.
Yeah.
Next month.
Our 3rd January.
Yeah. Yeah. I had to think about that because we're in December now, but we're talking about the November book, and
yeah, it's a little confusing, but you guys get it.
Yeah. And currently planning all the amazing books that we're going to be reading next year. I know we actually announced one of them on our Twitter. I think you did. We announced our August book already for our August 2017, which is Because You Love to Hate Me, which is the huge author booktuber collaboration that's coming out. So we are doing that next year. And
last year, Chloe, we put all of the books up. For 2016, we announced almost every single book that we had planned on Goodreads. Are we going to do that this year?
I don't know.
I think
who touches Goodreads anymore? I don't know.
Well, I mean,
we'll figure it out.
I'm gonna try to be better at Goodreads in the new year. So because I'm hosting the Young Adult BookTube Awards, it has been really, really hard for me to keep up with the Once Upon a Read-Along Goodreads, and it's just really difficult for me to keep up with social medias when I have so much going on in my BookTube life. But it just,
I think that
I'm gonna like be more diligent about it. So yes.
At one point we switched where I was going to do Goodreads and you were going to do Twitter, and then it still didn't work because we still both did Twitter.
Yeah.
And even then, I think I did the Twitter a bit more, though.
Yeah, you did. I'm really, really bad at social media, you guys. Like, I'm literally the worst, but I know that Chloe can't do both. So I just need to stick with the Goodreads and be more diligent about it and update it more often. And I promise that in 2017, I'm going to be better about it.
Which I like doing the Twitter more anyway. Like, I hate trying to figure out that Goodreads thing. I hate it.
Yeah, and I know the Goodreads. I just have to, like, sit down and actually do it and take the time for it. So in 2017, I will be a lot more diligent about the Goodreads. And if you guys are looking to go on the Goodreads to find out which books we're going to have for next year and what we're going to announce and when the live shows are and what we're reading every month for 2017, they will be on the Goodreads. And all you have to do is go to groups on Goodreads and search Once Upon a Read-Along, and you will find all of the information on that.
I know, and I'm not going to give away any titles that we're doing yet. I don't want to do that yet. But I'm going to do a little hinting that we have it in the new year. We have so far 2 book to movie adaptations that we're going to be reading. And then we have one that I'm not going to say, again, I'm not going to say what it is, but if you are a fan of the TV show Once Upon a Time, as we are, we have something else. Very, very excited about it. And also, you need to catch up on Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, I know.
We need to talk about it.
I know.
Okay. But now I think we're done with this live show.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us for the live show. And we will see you next year. We'll see you next year.
Oh my God, yeah. We'll see you guys. It's going to be like, well, I'm going to be making all the New Year jokes in that live show. Oh my God, I haven't seen you since last year.
We'll see you next year, December 8th, 2017 on my channel.
January 8th. You just said December 8th.
Oh, crud. Just January. I almost did it again. January 8th, we're going to be talking about A Monster Calls here on my channel again, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we cannot wait to see you guys again. 2017 is going to be really, really awesome for the Once Upon a Read-Along, and we hope that you guys join us.
It's going to be an awesome year for Once Upon a Read-Along and for just us in general, too.
Yeah.
We have so many different things as booktubers that we're so excited about.
Yeah, and I feel like both of our channels are really, like, exploding and getting better and just, like, oh, it's so exciting. I'm really excited for 2017.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. Next time.
Bye.
Bye.